Rachel and Yenon Saiag, welcome to Pod by Pen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
This is Rachel and Yenon. They are from Madison Health, and we've all known each other for quite a while because I started on a GLP-1 back in October of last year, 2024. And we are here today to talk all things GLP-1, peptides, testosterone replacement therapy, men's health, and so much more. Usually, I don't have men on the podcast, but I felt like it was important for both of you to be here.
I'm honored.
Yeah. I felt like it was important for both of you to be here because I feel like, I might be wrong, but I feel like Jewish men do not take care of their health unless their wife is listening and is going to hear all this and say like, hey, I think that we should talk about your health. So I felt like it was important to have you here as well and get a man's perspective. And hey, if there's any men listening, then there's a man here for you to listen to. And I feel like they'll listen to you before they'll listen to me. So I want to start. Yeah, let's hope. I want to start with Rachel. I've been on a GLP-1, which I feel like is a super hot topic, especially in the Jewish world right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we were a little slow on the uptake when it comes to GLP-1 and peptides, but now it's kind of like taken by a storm. You open any Jewish magazine, I don't know if you read them, and every single ad is a GLP-1 ad, or, for the pen, for programs, GLP-1 nutritionist, etc. There's just so many things popping up, and I feel like there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of misinformation out there. People, telling stories, you should not do it, you should do it, it changed my life. I ended up in the hospital. I've literally heard both ends of the spectrum from, oh my God, I took it and I was dying and I had all these crazy symptoms to, wow, it changed my life. I'm never going back, depending on the person.
Yeah, absolutely. Even before you started, that was like one of your biggest concerns too.
Yeah, I'm like a highly anxious individual. So I had 7,000 questions. And like I said, I had heard every story in the spectrum. So I came to you with all the stories and I was like, please debunk this for me. Tell me if this can happen. What will happen to me if I do this?
So many of the concerns are valid and legit. For sure, there are risk factors taking these kind of medications, but it's really important to know, have a provider that knows what they're doing with dosing, with understanding the side effects that are potential there and being able to mitigate them, doing a proper program. And that's kind of what we discussed, even there was a situation where you knew someone that was hospitalized, and the first question I had for you was like, well, does this person drink alcohol? And you're like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, well, that's a big risk for this complication to happen. So it's a lot of education, a lot of understanding how it works, and having a provider that's very supportive, guides you, doses you appropriately, and yeah. That's what
I feel like you were a provider that supported me appropriately.
Yes.
You had 7,000 questions. She probably had 7,000 answers.
Yeah, no, she had an answer for all of them. Well, it wasn't even like, back and forth text. We met, in person. We spoke on the phone. And I feel like now GLP-1 is becoming normalized and there's so much conversation around that also. But I want to start at the beginning. What is a GLP-1? Who is it for, and how is it helping us?
So GLP-1s we have naturally occurring in our gut, and that it's a hormone, it's a peptide that we have already. It controls our food noise, it signals to us when we're hungry, it helps with that. And then taking these medications, it controls the food noise, it delays gastric emptying, so it helps people lose weight in that regard. GLP-1 is not just it's not just for weight loss, and that's what a lot of research is out there now. You can use it for autoimmune issues. It's being used for arthritis. It's being used for inflammation, for PCOS, a lot more issues for menopausal women who have, let's say, been thin their whole lives and suddenly they have this like 10 pounds that are creeping up or premenopause and they don't know how to get rid of it because they've never had this issue and now they have it. These medications can help. So they're peptides that, they're part of the peptide group and they are wonderful.
And so just on the topic of peptides, I feel like also NAD is a big one, which I took for a period of, I believe it was 3 months.
Yeah.
and I thought it was great. It gave me such good energy. It like makes your skin great.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, wow, you look different. And I was like, stop. Stop it.
So yeah, NAD is also something we have naturally occurring. It's a coenzyme in our body. It's in every single cell of our body. And as we age, it declines, kind of like how everyone knows about collagen. Same thing with NAD. As we age, it declines, and replacing it kind of, gets that action going again for you and your body. It touches upon your skin. It touches upon your energy, your brain clarity, all of that.
Yeah. So I think also a big question is, I think this is actually one of the main questions we've had when we've talked, on Instagram to my following, et cetera. People want to know, how do I know if I'm a good candidate or not? Like, what's the process to getting to the GLP-1?
You have to have a provider that gives you a consult and goes through your entire health history, goes through your goals. What have you tried until now? Is it for weight loss? Is it for inflammation? What is your goal here? If it's for weight loss, what have you done until now? What are your struggles? You have to talk about that in a consult. And then we go through, the possible side effects that you can experience, how to mitigate them. We go through your labs. It's a good 45 to 60 minutes of your time to discuss to see if you even qualify. And then once once we know that you qualify, then we move to the next step.
What would you say is like the top 3 reasons you would not recommend a GLP-1 to someone?
If there's a contraindication in place, someone's health history, or if someone's not motivated to change habits, I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, they could try to do it as losing some weight, but they can expect that they'll gain it back. You have to have lifestyle change. And yeah, those are my main 2, actually.
Yeah. I feel like for me, the inflammation piece, I actually didn't realize beforehand how amazing that would be. And I happen to have autoimmune because I have celiac.
Yeah.
And so right away, I was like, oh, like I don't have to sleep with castor oil all over me to like avoid the symptoms of inflammation. And like, that's actually been life-changing for me personally. And it's funny because a lot of people will say to me, and they even DM me this, they're like, how much weight did you lose when you went on semaglutide? Like, what's normal? And I tell them I actually lost a little over 20 pounds in over a year. And they're like, only 20 pounds?
Yeah, I get that too. I get,
yeah.
Like, Penny only lost 20 pounds. I'm like, yeah, but that was her personal goals. We wanted to do super slow. She has tons of inflammation. You're actually someone that would benefit from a long-term a small dose of,
we've discussed that.
Yeah, you would be someone like, not everyone's in that category. However, I've had people lose 80 pounds in a year. It's just a matter of what's working for that person.
I think people were so surprised because they're used to seeing people who are, openly on a GLP-1 or not, losing an excessive amount of weight in, let's say, 6 to 12 months. You're talking like 60 pounds or more.
Okay,
and so when they hear 20 pounds from me, they're like, are you sure you were on it? I was like, yeah, no, I'm sure I was on it.
I don't like that approach of losing weight fast, because that's the issue of where everyone's afraid of, like, oh, I'm going to die, or these crazy side effects that people talk about, or it gets on the news. That a big, huge factor for long-term issues is when someone loses weight fast. And I'm not shy to tell you. On a consult, I will say, if you lose weight too fast, you will be at risk for bone loss, muscle loss, hair loss, possibly gastritis, gastroparesis, pancreatitis, like all these major issues that we should be aware of. And it's really important to discuss. You're at risk for if you're losing weight too fast. There's a healthy range.
People also talk about Ozempic face. They're like, how do you not have Ozempic face? I'm like, I still have my baby face. I'm okay.
Yeah, because it's important, low and steady.
Yeah.
Consistent,
Slow and steady wins the race. And I want to turn to you for a second. I feel like what you do, they don't know. No one knows what you do. Please tell us what you do.
So I am a men's health expert. I primarily focus on men's hormones. So testosterone replacement therapy is my specialty. Amongst other things, I also deal with sexual wellness, whether it's erectile dysfunction or issues with libido. Those are my main focuses, specifically for men.
And do you feel like in the Jewish world, it's not so talked about? Because I feel like when I heard about TRT, I had no idea what it was. And I was thinking to myself, wow, like there must be a lot of people in our community walking around with hormone imbalances, as men, et cetera, that literally have no idea that this is even an option.
100%. Yep. There's many men in our community that there's either a stigma attached or there's just lack of knowledge
Yeah.
on understanding what it really is and how it works in the body and how it declines over time, whether it's from stress, aging, diet, obesity. There's a lot of factors that play into it, and the symptoms that men usually come up with or have, they think is just a natural part of aging, but that's not necessarily the case.
What kind of symptoms are they experiencing?
So the biggest one is like low energy, but it's not like your typical like, oh, I'm tired. It's like drained, like full days of work. You come home, you're like totally drained. Weight gain is a very big one, specifically in the abdominal region. Poor sleep. Some men even experience like anxiety or depression, and they just think it's from, lifestyle or just life, and they'll go to their primary care doctor or whoever it may be, a psychiatrist, psychologist, and they'll put them on, an SSRI or any antidepressants when many times it's just low hormones, specifically testosterone. And by treating that and fixing that, mood changes. Those are like the really big ones that men see.
Yeah, I feel like that's actually, you're like describing so many people that I could think of off the top of my head.
To add on to that, we talk about how the women in our community care so much about how they look and how they feel. But then the men, like, it's...
suffer in silence.
You know what I feel like?
Out of the community, though,
but I will say,
men
in
care.
the defense of the men, I will say, which like, I can't believe I'm doing that. But in defense of the men, I feel like there's actually a lot of pressure on Jewish men. We are, thank God, living in communities where we need
hold it together.
Right, provide, have a family, a home, a business.
Yeah, but getting your testosterone in check would actually help you provide better.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. I mean, it's so overwhelming, and I wonder, wow, like there are probably so many people that could benefit from it. Is TRT newer?
No.
Is it something that has been around for a long time?
It's been around for 50 plus years. It's just more mainstream now because more education is coming out about it. And like the FDA just had a panel on it, on the importance of like replacing testosterone. And it just had a bad rep for a very long time because testosterone was used back in the 80s and 70s in sports.
Right.
For enhancement purposes. So it was banned, put on a controlled substance list, and just had a bad rep for a very long time. When in reality, it just is what your body naturally produces, and you're just replacing it. So what I do different than, somebody abusing it is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's replacement therapy. So I'm just replacing what your body naturally makes to maybe a little higher level where you would be in your 20s or your early 30s, for example. Whereas you're not on a cycle and you're not trying to become Mr. Olympia on stage.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Because I've heard the term in the gym, TRT is, equivalent of enhancement performance drugs. They throw around words like natural, not natural, et cetera. And I was like, I'm so confused. I did not know that these two things were related.
It is well known, very well known. Think of any celebrity that got a glow up, TRT is likely there for a male. Jeff Bezos.
What's the process of TRT? Is this an injection as well?
Yeah. So I mainly there's different forms of how you can apply it, but I mainly deal with injections because I feel that's the most stable way and the easiest way to keep track of how your body is responding to the injections. And for follow-ups, lab work every 3 to 4 months, it's the best way to kind of see how your body responds and if there's any adjustments that need to be made.
Can I ask you a question? Have you tried it yourself?
I have not.
You have not? I'm always so curious, providers that work in a certain industry.
I will eventually go on it.
When you feel ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 35. Testosterone starts to decline around my age, about 1 to 2% every single year, on top of, other factors that would affect it, whether it's lack of sleep, stress, diet, lack of exercise, environmental factors. But I haven't yet.
You're not there yet. You're still young. You still got it.
I'm not there yet.
Can I ask you?
But I do get it checked every single year.
You get it checked every year.
If there's one test that a man should do every single year is check your testosterone.
That's actually really good advice.
That will give you an overall picture of your health. By looking at somebody's testosterone level and a few other factors, I can tell if they're insulin resistant, if they have high cholesterol, and if they're overall weight healthy, just by looking at their testosterone. And most of the time I'm correct.
It does help with diabetes or cholesterol, something,
Yeah,
right?
so it'll help. So most men who have low testosterone, either they have insulin resistance, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, overweight. Those are like the real indicators. On top of other reasons, like a skinny person who's fairly healthy could still have low testosterone. It can be a mechanical reason, whether it's a signal from their brain or it's just the testicles are not producing it efficiently. But most men, I'm able to tell based on lab work and be able to figure out what supplements they may need or what injection protocol they would need to be successful.
My next question would be, do most GPs test their testosterone levels when they go in for a well visit? If they do, they don't.
Most guys come to me, don't even know what their total testosterone is.
Right. I'm thinking like of my own husband, like does he even know his number?
He does.
You know?
If I haven't tested his.
You tested him.
Oh, you're right.
If I haven't tested his, then he never knew it.
Wow.
Right. He didn't know it. He had a specific reason of why he chose not to.
Right. So I think that was my next question actually is, what are some of the side effects or, what are the negatives of doing TRT, if any?
So the kind of the stigma attached to it, I would say, more than anything, is that once you start it, your body stops producing and you're never going to be able to come off. That's not true.
Okay.
Most men think that, you look it up and it says once you start it, your natural production gets shut off and you're not going to be able to naturally produce. That's not the case. There are medications to take alongside testosterone injections that will help produce the natural testosterone production while on the medication to I kind of say like keep that faucet like running a little bit where your body isn't going to shut down long term. That's really the biggest like hold for men. And then there's the fertility aspect. So in order for men to be fertile, there needs to be natural testosterone production. It's not to say that a man taking testosterone for 5 years will be infertile, will not be able to, have kids or anything. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example.
Right.
The man's been on everything under the sun and he has multiple children.
Yeah.
There's many men that produce, are able to have children while being on testosterone. But I feel like that is the two big things that hold men back.
The biggest misconceptions.
The biggest misconceptions, yeah. But most of my clients are past that age of wanting to have kids, whether in their 40s, early 50s, even late 30s.
They probably had kids younger.
Yeah, they have their kids younger and they're already past that stage. So it's more of like the mental block of once I start, I can never get off. And that's not true.
So let's say, so you're saying that testosterone depletes as you get older. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing TRT and you want to come off of it, is there any reason to come off of it once you're at that stage?
So most of the reason men come off of it is only for reasons whether it's affordability, if anything. Because what I do is I don't accept insurance. It's not covered through insurance. So it is out-of-pocket expense because it is considered off-label use unless they meet a certain criteria of blood work, which is very, very difficult to reach based on the current standards of it. By the AUA, sorry.
Yeah.
But besides that, most men don't come off because I've had men say, I want to come off. And I'm like, okay, they'll come off. And within 2 months, they're like, I don't feel like I used to feel. I want to go back on.
They feel vibrant. Yeah. They feel alive. They feel like they're 20 again.
They feel younger, feel stronger, feel more energetic. They just feel like more like themselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we also have a lot of transfer clients where they're already on TRT, being mismanaged, and they are miserable too. So is it possible
to get TRT in the same way that you can just get a GLP-1 pen and kind of be doing it on your own?
Technically, it is controlled, so you have to make sure you're with a provider that has that kind of licensing. But a lot of the transfer clients, they're the happiest because they know what it feels like to be miserable.
Wow.
I had someone transfer me to say he's been on testosterone for a year. I'm like, how do you feel? No different. I said, that's mind-blowing.
That's crazy,
to me.
right?
You should feel different.
That's I have people who are texting me 2 to 4 weeks in saying they have a lot more energy. I have people that messaging me 6 months in that you changed my life.
Wow.
And someone who's been on it for a year mismanaged, based on their dosage and frequency of how they're injecting, they're like, I don't feel any different. I said, you're being totally mismanaged. And
what we say is you're being butchered.
Botched. Like the show, Rachel, I feel like also specifically recently, I feel like the topic of GLP-1 has really come up on social media a lot within, amongst Jewish influencers, different providers, etc. Like I said, you open a magazine, there is a million ads for GLP-1. Peptides, not so much. They're like,
It's gonna be.
I feel like
It's the
peptides
future.
is like a little,
No.
it's coming, but it's not there
So
yet.
GLP-1s were here like 5-6 years ago when it was starting to, like, everyone's like hush hush about it. Peptides are there now. Hush hush. 5-6 years, it'll be everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It's the future.
But I think a lot of the conversation has really turned to.
By the way, a GLP-1 is a peptide.
Right, a GLP-1 is a peptide.
Go ahead,
Actually, I was thinking that before when you were saying it's part of the peptide family. And
It's
I was
naturally
like,
occurring in our
it's
body.
so interesting. Right, it's naturally occurring.
Sorry, interrupt you. Go back.
No, it's okay. There's a lot of back and forth because it's become a lot more normalized in the last couple of years. It's like, I felt so comfortable to be open about it. I was like, what's the big deal? And then there are people who are so afraid, oh my gosh, I hope no one finds out that I'm, on Ozempic.
I respect
or et
either
cetera.
way. I have a lot of clients that are like,
yeah, and listen, I respect
No,
that
I
because
have
at the end of the day, it's your health and your health deserves privacy.
100%. I have a mom and 2 sisters, and all 3 of them don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
I think, there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, I don't like that it's being normalized. I feel like it's detrimental, whether they feel that it's not, a good health choice for people. There are people who argue you shouldn't be taking this medication because it was created for diabetes. What about all the people with diabetes? I think, I guess there was at some point maybe a shortage, and so that became a narrative. And another narrative that they're talking about a lot is, are we teaching younger generations to kind of cheat sheet their way, to being thinner?
So I think that education is really important, and how it's being marketed is important too. Regarding the diabetic aspect, I don't agree with that. There's a lot of medications that are created that are created for one purpose, and then we find out, oh, it also benefits this, so let's use it for that. A perfect example is Viagra. Viagra was not created for the purpose it's being used today. It was a cardiac medication to begin with.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So there are many medications in that regard that help with more than just one thing, and it's readily available. It's not like there's a shortage, a back order on it. It's available. Regarding the younger crew, it's like that with everything in life. There's just today's day, social media, there's so much exposure to everything, whether it's wars, there's just a lot of things that we don't want our younger generation to necessarily see. It's important to, if they bring it up, to have that education piece with them and explain to them that, some people really struggle with weight loss or have inflammatory situations going on. Just like you take an Advil for a headache, some people need to take a GLP-1 for their metabolic health. And that's okay. It just has to be done, because these do come with side effects. It has to be done with a provider that understands how to mitigate them and be there for you when you do have the side effects, so that, you don't go into a spiral, and be dosed appropriately. That's a big part of it. Dosing is massive. So we do a lot of our entire practice is based off of personalized dosing.
Right. Right. And I know that from myself because people have asked me, how much are you on? And I'm totally open about it.
We're not cookie cutter.
And they're like, is that even enough? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I feel great. Thank God.
More isn't always better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that we do a lot of education on that. People are like, oh, I just want to be on a high dose so I can lose weight faster. 2 things. 1, you may not necessarily lose weight faster. If you are, it's because you're vomiting your guts out. We don't want that. I do not want to do I don't want to promote medical anorexia. Because this medication could definitely bring that on. Because if you're not eating and you're just vomiting and you're having severe side effects and you're sick, that's kind of like forced anorexia.
I feel like a lot of comments that I've read online, I love to read comments. I go on different posts, and I love to see what people are talking about. So many people comment, oh, I was on a GLP-1. I was so sick. I had to come off.
It's sad that they had that kind of experience because they were likely dosed too high.
Yeah.
You can have side effects dosed appropriately. Generally, it's what we call real-time feedback. It's what you're doing or lack of doing that will trigger you to feel this way. which I think at the beginning you may have even experienced maybe you didn't have it, but I have a lot of clients.
I had very slight nausea once I was adjusting to the medication. It really
right?
wasn't
and like
a big deal.
Protein, breakfast, and
Right.
good.
As soon as I ate breakfast, I was fine.
Breakfast is such a big meal. It's
yeah.
the most important
And there was
meal.
also one night where I went to an engagement party
Had some
and I
alcohol.
drank 2 drinks at Reserve Cut and
you were
then
forced. That's
came
it.
back and was so sick.
So that's what we call
I never
real-time
did that
feedback.
again.
And you don't do that again and you don't feel that sick
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
I feel like if there are people on a GLP-1 that are not necessarily in your program, what were the top 3 tips you can give them to surviving the side effects that they might be experiencing?
You must make sure to have adequate protein. Aside from the side effects, it's also important for your muscle. You don't want to be losing muscle. And
Yeah.
if you're not eating enough protein, you're just eating carbs, you're going to be losing muscle. That's a fact. Aside from that, make sure your dose is correct. If your dose is not correct, talk to your provider. And if it's not working for you, let them know because you have to adjust it.
Hydration.
And hydration is so important.
I'm the worst. I need to get better about the hydration. I really try. I used to be
your-
better.
and
I used to drink like you, like a big Stanley of
If
water.
I don't have that with me,
stopped.
no, but if I don't have that with me, I forget to drink. This
Right,
reminds
you know what
me.
it is? In the summer, I'm so good. In the winter, my game is off.
A
It's
lot
like
of
you
people
almost
have
like
that.
don't feel as thirsty in the winter. It's
A
the
lot of
weirdest
people have
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Not sweating as
but in the
much,
summer, I'm like
yeah.
walking around with it.
And all my
So.
clients also know that no one is perfect. Everyone has their days where they're like down or up, and that's okay. We're human. Just get right back on it, and you kind of learn along the way what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting how it went from being something very shameful, a GLP-1, to now people being open about it. But then,
That's kind of like Botox and divorce, right?
yeah,
20 years
almost
ago,
like Botox and
20 years
divorce.
ago, if you were divorced, you were the outcast.
Also, no one talked about Botox.
no one did. Then now
Yeah.
it's out in the open.
Yeah,
So same
I
thing
love
with GLP-1s.
Botox.
Things, yeah. Same thing with peptides. TRT is going to be soon, I think, in our community as well. It's just breaking the barriers and proper education.
There's
Education is
definitely
important.
used to be a lot of shame around it. And it's interesting, I think, also because I always say, like, you can never win, especially in online spaces. You just can't win. Like, someone's going to agree with, disagree or agree with something that you said, which is totally fine with me. I think it's interesting how now that it's become so, less shameful and people are talking about it, now the narrative is, oh, well, like I said before, oh, you're ruining it for the younger generation, or you're misusing, this medication, or, things of that nature. And I just find it so interesting because no matter which side of the coin we're on, someone is
always
going to
gonna
come
be- there's
and
always-
try.
Yeah.
By the way,
and
I
take
do
you
have
down.
I do have a lot of the younger generation with me. We have a big pressure in our communities also about marriage,
Yeah.
and this holds back when someone struggles with weight. It holds them back from wanting to date, and
Not feeling confident.
yeah, the confidence key to me is golden. Like that's one of my favorite parts of my job.
Yeah. Like when they start feeling confident again and they're like, I fit into my clothes.
You know how many
or
clients
I
I've called
could
that
buy
have
a
called me?
different size, or I
I've
don't
had
feel
clients
stressed when
call
I
me
shop.
crying happy tears,
Yeah.
and like
Wow.
it's a good journey to be a part of.
Yeah. I think it's interesting also, people who are, super into body positivity movement. I think that, a lot of times it's interesting actually. I'm going to backtrack this. I see like 2 camps of them. It's the 2 camps of one is they're okay with the GLP-1 and, they're, supportive and, maybe they're on it, maybe they're not on it. And everyone deserves to love themselves the way that they are.
Correct, 100%.
And I didn't not love myself when I was heavier. I was struggling with it, but I still showed up for myself. And it's interesting because now there's this camp of, you're taking away from this, now, only to be thin is in again. And, it's like the 90s repeating itself.
So our motto isn't thin on our programs. That's not what we aim for. We do aim for you to feel good. Confidence, that confidence comes to every part of your life. As a mom, as a wife, as a friend, for yourself. It comes everywhere. Aside from that, like insides, like metabolically, your cardiac
You're
health.
just getting healthier.
You're getting healthier when your weight's in an appropriate range. And then regarding, I think that we were talking about disordered eating even at one point.
Yeah.
And people mentioning, when I was my thinnest, I wasn't healthy. But that's because you were doing something that was really toxic for you. You were you were in disordered eating. You were in that phase of starving yourself with crazy food noise. You're miserable. That's not going to make you happy if you're doing it in the wrong way. But if you have support, you have guidance, you're eating. The important part is on our programs, we want you to eat. How many times do I remind you got to be eating? All my clients know.
Exactly.
The more it's important to eat. You have to eat. You have to hydrate. And this medication is used as a tool. And when that happens, and when you're
making right
it's
decisions.
not, people do feel happier. They do. They feel confident. They feel happier. Yeah.
I think it also, for me personally, I always would become very stressed. Like when I was in the process of losing weight postpartum,
Like you were obsessed with it.
Yeah. It like almost becomes this obsession where I'm like, okay, let me start weighing all my food and I was working out every single day for at least an hour. And then sometimes I would like come home and at night I would be on the treadmill and
it consumed your life.
It was consuming my life. And
Especially if you're not seeing the results.
Right. And I was losing weight slowly, but it was kind of like yo-yoing the same like 5 pounds at some point. And I was nowhere near the weight that I had been previously where I felt the best. And I was just struggling, like, what is my next move? And like, I actually wasn't even thinking of Ozempic then. I was just like, okay, like I tried high protein and then low carb and, incline walking and weight training and cardio versus not cardio. I was all over the place. And yes, I do think people can obviously achieve things naturally, within a range.
Yeah, it's not 100%. For everyone. Yeah.
But for me, once I started seeing that for a couple of months, I was stuck at like 5 pounds fluctuating within a range that I had never seen before. I had never seen those numbers before. And it's funny because I used to not weigh myself. I actually, during my pregnancy, I stopped weighing myself. It would stress me out. It just, I was like, I can't think about it right now. All I care about is getting to the end, have a healthy baby, and I'll worry about it at the end. And I was working out every day pregnant. I was on top of the protein, like you have no idea. And at the end of the day, my body was going to do what it wanted to do. I was pregnant. I was growing a human being. And I'm also 5 feet tall. And so gaining 40 pounds for me is an enormous amount of weight at my stature. So, I had originally lost about 20 pounds on my own. And again, I got to that point of fluctuation where I was like, something is just weird. Like I would literally be watching what I eat to the point of a little bit hungry or like, working out like crazy. And if anything, I feel like I was almost holding myself back from losing the weight because I was so stressed about it. And it was like taking over my mind.
Stress hormones play a big role in this.
Yeah, and the
100%.
stress was making it worse. And that's when you had reached out to me. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I actually really didn't think of going on Ozempic. We all joke about it, by the way. Like
reaching out to someone, by the way, takes a lot of courage.
Takes a lot of guts.
I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. It's not, you know what I mean? But yeah, it ended up being really great.
Sometimes it's just the perfect candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I see someone struggling and I see that they're putting it,
situation.
I won't reach out to someone that I don't see that's putting in the work.
Right.
You were working out. You were counting your macros. You were doing everything you possibly could.
Yeah.
So in that situation, when you're doing your 100%, what more could you do?
That's
when I'll reach out.
Yeah.
That's when I reach out to people. I'm like, well, maybe I could help them out.
Yeah. And at first I was like, this is something that I joke about. Like I was pregnant, joking with like my 2 other friends that were pregnant at the time. And we were like, it's fine. We'll just get some Ozempic after, It's like a classic joke now.
Your friends were like, you weren't kidding.
And then I ended up doing it. And it's funny because once I started, actually, my friend was like, you know what, I'm going to look into it. And she did like a small amount of time on a GLP-1, and she ended up coming off of it way earlier than me. I'm now in the weaning process, everybody. Everyone wants to know. And I didn't even actually talk about this yet, but it's funny, I texted you last week. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely hungrier in my head. But it's interesting because I find that now I feel kind of like more like down to my base level where like I'm not starving. I just feel kind of level. So in case anyone's wondering, so far I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing great.
And I haven't fluctuated a crazy amount of weight. So, it's all working out great.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Now that I'm kind of in that weaning off process for now, and maybe I will end up doing a microdose, just, like we discussed, because I do have a lot of inflammation, so that is applicable to me. How do you walk people through the weaning off process where they don't have this, I'm sure a lot of them have like a fear of, oh my gosh, I just did all this work and now I'm just gonna gain it all back, and everybody is, looking and watching and waiting for me to gain it all back so they could say that they were right,
It's a great question. What you put into the program while you're on it, especially during maintenance, is what you're going to get out of it. So it's really important. It looks different for everyone. Maintenance dosing is very different for everyone once we start that process. Some people come off in a month, some people come off in 6 months. Everyone's different. It really matters on how they respond. But the main thing is that it's a lifestyle change. You gotta be, and we're not black and white. I don't like black and white. So you gotta be able to prioritize certain food groups with treats in moderation.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like whenever I talk about it, even with friends or family, aside from on Instagram with a bunch of strangers, people are definitely still a little judgy. Like they have this underlying like, good for you, or like, aren't you worried you're gonna gain all that weight back? And I usually just tell them no. Not that I'm like so confident I won't, or that I'm so confident that, I am confident in my choices.
Yeah, you have good choices. You do. You work out.
I'm very confident
weights,
in my
which is so
choices.
important.
I'm confident in my lifestyle. I do enjoy a good treat, so that I will not withhold from myself.
As you shouldn't.
And I tell everyone, treats after protein.
Treats after protein, or treats that are protein.
Right, that's true too.
But I think it's really interesting how like people think of it as like a cheat sheet or, the easy way out.
Well, if you're not changing your lifestyle, yeah, it could technically be a cheat sheet because if you'll still lose weight. The medication is designed to lose a certain percentage of your weight, even if you don't change any habits.
What's that percentage?
For each one, it's different. It ranges between like 8 to 12%, I believe.
Right. Just off the bat, without any work.
Because of the way that the medication delays gastric emptying. So you'll feel fuller for longer and faster. So in turn, you're taking in a less amount of calories. So
but then the second you get off of it.
Yeah. Also, aside from when you come off, you'll gain it back. But aside from that, you'll be the one that feels more side effects. Plus, you'll plateau out. So if you only have about 10 pounds to lose, you'll get there. But if you're someone that has 100 pounds to lose or even 50 pounds to lose, you're not getting there if you don't change your habits. You'll plateau out. And I've had clients call me. They're at the top highest dose of Monjaro, which is like 15 milligrams, and they still have 15 pounds to go. I'm like, you haven't changed your habits. You've likely maxed out. Now we have to add in other peptides that possibly will work. But if you're not changing your lifestyle, which you haven't done until now, so it's hard.
Back.
Yeah.
What's the average amount of weight that is normal to lose in a time frame?
We say a healthy range is about 1 to 3 pounds a week.
1 to 3.
It depends. If you're someone on the lower range and you have about 20 pounds, 1 pound is good per week. Yeah. If you're someone that's on the 100 pounds plus or whatever, 50, 60 pounds, 3 pounds is fine.
Right.
It just really matters on what your ratio is.
Right. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about peptides, and I know that both of you utilize that in your practice. Tell me a little bit about peptides because it's so new and people are a little confused. Is this an oral medication? Is it even a medication? Is it injection? I think people need a little clarity. I know that NAD, I took in an injection, but I know that there is a whole class of peptides that I don't know anything about, and that is super, super new, and every single one aids different things in the body. Tell us some of your favorites.
So they're not so new. It's just, I guess, more new in social media.
It's more talked about. Yeah. What are some of your favorite peptides and how do they work?
So peptides come in different forms. Some could be injectables, some could be in capsules, oral form. There could be creams, there could be nasal sprays. It all really is relevant to the patient's needs and the available form that they come in, and the goal of what the reason is. For example, BPC-157 is a very big peptide. It stands for body protection compound. And what it is it's naturally made in gastric juice, and it helps with gastrointestinal lining. So many people take it in capsule form to help repair gut lining. So people with like Crohn's disease or colitis are big components of that.
Even celiac.
Celiac disease as well.
Yeah. Get me one of those.
And then people also take it for muscular injuries, tendon tears, ligament issues.
Are they using it in sports medicine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, off-label.
So they'll use those injection form because that works more at the target site. for those specific injuries. Another big one for healing is TB 500, which also kind of synergistically working with BPC 157 helps with those kind of injuries, whether it's tendon, ligament, tissue. Flexibility is a big one also for people. Range of motion, those two combined together are good for healing. Those are like the healing peptides that we utilize. PT 141 is a big libido booster. So a lot of either married couples or even people with significant others will utilize that to help with like arousal or intimacy or kind of, create that spark.
Are all peptides for men and women?
Yeah, some are, but some are more for men, right?
Yeah, there's
for
certain ones that are more
muscle
for
building. Men prefer that versus women.
But it can be for either gender.
Yeah, it can be for either gender.
Okay.
It would be dose dependent based on height, weight, and age. But like PT 141, I have multiple married couples utilizing it together.
Right.
And
good
each
old
person
person takes it?
Yeah.
Each person will take
Interesting.
it.
And it's injectable?
It could be an injectable or nasal form. It really depends on,
It's a nasal spray.
Nasal spray, yes, correct.
Right.
And they'll utilize it
prior to intercourse.
60 minutes, 90 minutes before planned intercourse.
Right.
Or, when they're going to be together. And then it can last for several hours.
Wow. All right, Rachel, what are some of your favorites?
I love GHKCU.
GHKCU.
It's great.
It sounds like a radio station.
It's a copper peptide. It's great for, it has copper added into it. It's great for skin, nails, hair. It's like liquid Botox, they say.
I love that.
It's
that
actually utilized. It comes in cream, injection. It's utilized in a lot of beauty products.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
What
But the injectable
NAD,
one,
obviously.
right? The injectable, NAD is not technically a peptide. It's a coenzyme, kind of like, there's glutathione, it's an antioxidant. There's B12, it's a vitamin. And the peptides are different. There's the way it is. It's a short chain amino acid. For example, like BPC 157, it's 157 because there's 157
amino acids.
Yeah, the chain of it. But GHK is great for, like what I said. It's awesome for all of whatever.
Make the ladies prettier.
And guys use it too.
And guys?
It's also good for, in conjunction with BPC and TB and GHK, it's called the glow. It's
a glow up.
A glow up, literally.
Basically, if you want to get a glow up.
It's good for skin elasticity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Healing, it's great.
That's really, really cool.
If you ever do microneedling, tell the person to give you that GHK as healing, or come to me and I'll give it to you as healing. It's great.
Wait, so
it's good while you're
when they
doing
come
it,
in cream format, do you have to prescribe that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Unless you get very small amounts in the already made creams in the stores.
Do you have any that you recommend that you can just buy over the counter?
There is, I think, one company that we know of that I could tell you about. I don't know off the top of my head, though.
We'll link it if we can find it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. And I know that Rhode uses peptides in their stuff, too.
Yeah.
Peptides are great. They really are. They're healing.
They're the future.
Secret
ingredient.
Secret ingredient. Also, I think you like sermorelin, right?
Yeah, sermorelin and testosterone are also big peptides, more for muscle building, sleep, and recovery. Those are injections as well. So those.
I need an injection for sleep.
So those help.
I would love that.
Insomnia or like recovery?
Yeah, it's more.
Just like I want like that baby sleep. You know?
The baby sleep. I
have men report that they've slept like babies on this.
Men always sleep like babies.
Yeah.
They've been sleeping like babies for centuries.
But what it does is it stimulates the natural growth hormone production. While you sleep, that's when it peaks, and that helps the body recover and heal, as well as muscle building as well. So like think about like little kids. Why do like parents tell them like you need to go to sleep early? That's when you grow. That's when your growth hormones are peaking. It's the same idea.
So if I want to grow taller.
I'm
kidding.
Our growth plate is already passed. But the other effects of what growth hormone does in the body, as well as like whether it's burning fat, whether it's building muscle, sleep is also a big portion of it. Those are the things that kind of create those impulses on the growth hormone to stimulate those things to happen.
There's a peptide for a lot. There's a peptide if you want to get more tan. It has other benefits
you telling me
too.
This. Tan
it has other benefits too.
How has no one come out with a beauty product yet that is tanning peptide cream, you know?
maybe that will happen soon. There is also another peptide there's energy, there's one for immunity.
Oh, wow.
Not spoken about. I think that every single primary care place should have.
And
that
these are all
available.
things that are already naturally occurring in our body, but
the
we're
most
just
part,
kind of giving ourselves a
that
boost.
enhancement. It reaches that synapse.
Is it because as we get older, it's a little diminished?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything, whether it's your lifestyle, the environment, what you're eating, all of it plays. Illness.
Biohacking at its finest, everyone.
Same thing with NAD.
We're going to look young forever.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Glutathione naturally occurring.
Right. But
detoxifies the liver.
all these things, by the way, you have to make sure that you're dosed appropriately. I've had people call me and they're like, I got a glutathione injection from this med spa, but like I had diarrhea for days. I'm like, okay, what was your dose? And yeah, they were overdosed. All these things you need to have a proper dose for. Go to a provider that understands.
Yeah. So generally speaking, what is the patient experience? I think people also never know what to expect when they reach out to someone for whether it's GLP-1 or if men are reaching out to you for men's health, TRT, et cetera. What does that look like on either end?
No worries. For the weight loss and peptides, you schedule in a consult first. You reach out, you schedule in a consult, depending on what works for you and works for us. After that, we go through your goals. We formulate a plan, and then labs based on we have a baseline of labs that we check. But if you have any health history that we need to add on, then we add on extra labs as well. Once we get the labs back, we can formulate a finalized plan and then get you started. And throughout the program, you have the support, the guidance is there for you as an option. And then we have mandatory accountability. That is a weekly check-in that we do with all of our clients. At that point, if they have any questions that they may have forgotten to ask during the week, whatever they're experiencing, we check upon how they're doing. And, dosing gets adjusted if needed as well. And then anytime they have any concerns, questions, they know that we're here to support them.
Amazing.
So it's pretty similar for the men, except with me, it comes with a screening tool. It's called the ADAM questionnaire. It stands for androgen deficiency in aging males. So initially they would call in. They would say, I'm having so-and-so symptoms. I would do initial lab work, so kind of get a baseline level. Or if they've had one done previously in the past 3 months, which most men don't know their testosterone levels from experience of doing this. I would take their baseline lab work. They'd fill out a questionnaire along with demographics and a medical history, whether it's surgical history, certain other, medical portions of their history that they would fill out. And then based on the questionnaire, based on the results of the lab work and their symptoms that they currently have, we'd formulate a plan. Sometimes it's not the right time based on their symptoms or what their goal is that we would initiate testosterone. It may be a peptide that they may utilize, maybe lifestyle modification supplements at that time, and then following up with them going forward. If it is testosterone that they go along with, lab work would be every 3 to 4 months ongoing, just to check sustainable levels. And with every follow-up is a questionnaire as well to make sure that the symptoms that they originally had are improving and that they're not getting any new symptoms.
Yeah. And to add on for mine, people often call me like, oh, I want this and this. My friend has this medication. I want the exact same thing. I'm like, we first have to have our consult to see how old you are. What is your issue with gaining weight? Is it a food? Is it inflammation? Is it your age? Is it your habits? We have to figure that out. And labs make a big difference. There are certain markers that we would choose one medication over the other that would target that.
What are the typical medications that you like to utilize?
Semaglutide, which is known as Ozempic or Wegovy, or tirzepatide, which is known as Mounjaro Zepbound. And when Retta becomes available, that will be used too.
Retatrutide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. Yeah. Okay, we are going to play Would You Rather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I guess you guys have to do your answers quick.
Okay.
Okay, no cheating.
Both speak at the same time?
At the same time.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather sleep 8 hours for sure every night or know that you're going to get a half an hour to work out every day?
8
Half hour to
hours.
work out.
Okay. Would you rather drink a gallon of water a day or never have caffeine again?
Water.
I
don't drink caffeine.
Okay. Meal prep for the week or cook every day?
Cook
Meal
every
prep.
day.
The difference between men and women, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, lose weight slowly but sustainably or fast results, strict rules?
Slowly
Fast
sustainable.
results.
Fast results? Okay, cut sugar or cut processed foods?
Processed food.
Prioritize protein or prioritize fiber?
Protein.
Both.
Cheater. You have to pick
You
one.
need to have both.
Okay. Would you rather wake up super energized every day or never have an afternoon crash?
Energized every day.
Right? Like that morning energy, nothing like it. Okay. Would you rather optimize your hormones now or would you wait until you have symptoms?
Optimize now.
Optimize while you're young, baby. Give up alcohol or give up desserts?
Alcohol.
I don't drink alcohol.
You don't
That's
drink.
why it's easy to give it up.
Yeah. Okay. Eat out less or scroll social media less?
Scroll social media less.
Yeah. I don't.
Do you scroll a lot?
I don't
He doesn't like social.
Okay, would you rather have more time in the day or more energy?
Energy.
Both.
Both. Rachel keeps cheating. Would you rather give up coffee or bread?
Bread.
Coffee. I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee.
I mean, if I do, you know what it is? It's like milk with like a splash.
Oh my God. Okay. Would you rather perfect sleep or perfect stress levels?
Perfect stress levels.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you for playing Would You Rather.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's actually really cool because both of you are really addressing a whole community of people, like men and women, with things that can really be shameful. And it's really interesting because you have so much to offer us. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.